Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It is post-match reaction showtime after Liverpool have just done what they always do these days in the Premier League. They have won, they have picked up 3 points, they've kept a wonderful clean sheet as well, and we've done one thing that we actually don't tend to do, which we've scored a hell of a lot of goals as well. If you could have one criticism of this Liverpool side this season, it's that they don't win comfortably as much as maybe I think some of us would like, and thankfully, because we have this absolutely massive lead at the top of the Premier League table, there hasn't been much squeaky bum time, certainly in comparison to the second half of last season where it was absolute torture going through it. This title race in comparison has been more or less an absolute walk in the park for the mighty Reds, but it is nice every now and then to see them win a game by a considerable margin and come away saying that they have absolutely blown their opponents away. Even though when you look at the actual performances of the two sides, I'm not entirely sure that would be a fair assessment of the game today, and I think in some ways that's me holding Liverpool to a ridiculously high standard as well, because not only did we score 4 goals, when you look at the Opta stats for the game and the way they measure things like clear-cut chances, we actually missed 4 clear-cut chances in that game as well. So it could have ended up being an even bigger rout for Liverpool. As it was, I think 4-0 was slightly harsh on Southampton, who put in a really, really spirited performance, caused us plenty of problems in the first half as well. I think it was just a matter of fitness at the end of the day, and a matter of the fact that once Liverpool find their way through, there tends to be no way back for the opposition, and that's what's so brilliant about this Liverpool side. They don't really drop many points in the Premier League at all, but certainly from winning positions, they haven't dropped a single point so far this season, which is absolutely fantastic. In, of course, the Premier League at least. You can look at other competitions and stuff like that, not least the Shrewsbury match for a moment when we didn't exactly manage the game brilliantly and did throw a lead away. But in the Premier League, when it's the big boys, when it's the boys we rely upon week in, week out to do the business on the biggest stage of all, these players just never ever let us down, and today's game was a perfect example of that. The first goal, there is an element of luck about it. I think the goalie just kind of lets himself down a little bit. He had a couple of moments, it happens again with the second goal as well, where he makes a guess, he tries to call which way the ball's going to go, it doesn't go that way, and even though the shot's not the best one in the world, it finds its way through because the goalie just sells himself down the river and gives himself absolutely no chance of saving it. But you make your own luck in these kind of situations. I'm not saying that Liverpool didn't deserve to take the lead. I think they'd had chances to do so in the first half as well, and this was just a matter of us banging on the door so often that eventually one Southampton player makes one little mistake and Liverpool capitalise it, go 1-0 up, and from that point on in, it does just feel like the game is completely in our hands. The second goal is absolutely fantastic. It's great to see Jordan Henderson get on the score sheet. I thought he put in a fantastic performance in general as well. He has been running the show from the centre of the park over the last few games, and this game was no different. Back in that slightly more advanced role as well, now that Fabinho has returned to his spot at the number 6. I think there's been a little bit of disagreement over whether that role suits Jordan Henderson. I think some of it comes down to the fact that while he has been playing in the number 6 over the last few months, that's been where all these Player of the Year shouts have come from. People now saying that he deserves not just the award for Liverpool, but the PFA award for best player in the Premier League as well, which is, I think, a decent shout. He's been fantastic over the last couple of months, but I think because that coincided with his movement to the defensive midfield role, I think people have slightly forgotten that he does absolutely have the attributes to contribute as a number 8 as well. And I think the one criticism that people have had of him in that role, and why people have almost seen it justified that he should play more defensively, is this idea that he doesn't offer enough going forward. And I think he's completely debunked that myth, to be honest. I think over the last 18 months or so, Jordan Henderson has offered so much going forward for Liverpool. Admittedly, in the past, sometimes he could be a little bit stagnant, and I think some of that was down to his readjustment to the role of playing defensive mid and not really knowing when he could contribute to the attack and when he had to be more defensive minded in terms of how he set himself up, how he passed the ball and stuff like that. But he's really found his feet, whatever role he's in the midfield now, and when he plays in that number 8 role, he has been absolutely fantastic. He gets goals now, admittedly not that many, but he gets some important ones. He can get assists, as he showed today once again, and even when he's not bagging those kind of numbers, he gets them kind of hockey assists where he gets the pass before the assist, he sets attacks going. His pressing is absolutely phenomenal. He just does not let midfielders or defenders or attackers lie down. He's always on them, always getting up in their face, always winning the ball back, and he knows what to do when he wins it back as well. We saw it in the game against West Ham on Wednesday night, where he plays that beautiful half volley pass to Mo Salah to set up the counter-attack, and we saw it again today. It's a great finish. Again, the goalie kind of sells himself a little bit short going the wrong way, but as Michael Owen would say, if you don't shoot, you don't score. Jordan Henderson shoots, Jordan Henderson scores. He deserves a goal for a fantastic performance today, and it's a big goal as well, because even though I said that it felt like the game was completely in Liverpool's hands as soon as we go 1-0 up, Southampton are a good team. They still had players like Long and Ings who were causing us a few problems here and there on the pitch at that point. So to go 2-0 up just really put the game to bed, and from there on in, it really felt like we could relax and just enjoy some absolutely fantastic football from Liverpool, and boy, did they deliver in those last 20 minutes or so. I mean, the pass from Jordan Henderson for the first goal, for the third goal even, is sublime. I'm praying to God, to any deity you can think of, that doesn't get taken away from him as an assist, just because it comes off of like the bootlace of the Southampton player on the way through. Either way, it's a brilliant ball. The curl is fantastic. The weight is fantastic. It's right into Mo Salah's path. All he's got to do is, you know, extend himself a couple of yards to get on the end of the deflection that comes off of the Southampton player, and then the finish is brilliant. Again, I don't want to criticise the goalie, but I think he sits down far too easily. He essentially tells Mo Salah what to do. He gets down, he spreads his legs, he says, I'm covering the corners, but if you want to chip it, by all means, send it over my shoulder and we'll just call it quits. And that is what Mo Salah does. I'm not sure what he's doing with the celebration. He seems disappointed with himself somehow. No idea why, because he was really good today, to be fair. And I think I'm still slightly off-put by just how often he holds onto the ball, how long even he holds onto the ball at times. There were some times where he laid it off brilliantly, and I think his contribution going forward, both creatively and in terms of his goal scoring, was fantastic today. But there were just a few moments where I think he does need to release the ball, and in fairness to him, we were 3-0 up at that point when he gets the ball in a tight space in sort of about 30 yards from goal, and there's plenty of passes on. He just tries to dribble out of danger, even though there's about 5 Southampton players around him. If you're going to do it at any time, fine, do it now. Try and hone your skills, try and show off a little bit, try and score the goal of the season. If anyone can, it's him. And if anyone deserves to just have a little bit of fun on the ball, it's Mo Salah, because like I said, he was fantastic today, both creatively and in terms of goal scoring. The goal he scores is absolutely fantastic there, the little dinked finish. The goal he then gets a little bit later on with a few minutes left. There's a slight bit of fortune about it. It's ever so slightly messy. It's wonderful from Roberto Firmino to be completely unselfish and lay it off, as he does for that second goal as well. You know, I think it's slightly underrated just how easy it would have been for him to take the shot on there. He's got space, he's got time, he can see the goal, he's got opportunities, he's got corners that he can aim for and stuff like that. But he knows Henderson's in a better position. He knows that Henderson will catch the defence and the goalkeeper off guard, so he takes that opportunity. Even though he's on a home goal scoring drought this season as well, it would have been so easy for him to snatch at one of those opportunities. Same with the fourth goal that we score, but he always values the team above himself, and today's game was testament to that once again. He gets 2 assists. He deserves 2 assists. I thought he was brilliant as well. I thought the entire Liverpool team was absolutely fantastic, and maybe I was being a little bit harsh earlier on the video when I said they didn't really maybe deserve to win the game by such a considerable margin. Southampton were good, and they deserved maybe not a result. They didn't deserve a draw, I think, by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe a goal or at least something to take home, like a scoreline that doesn't reflect on them too badly. But Liverpool were at times just playing football from another planet. And it's mad because they don't even need to. We're so far ahead in the league, and we're putting games to bed going 2-0 up, and we're just doing this for fun. It's just because this is second nature to the players. They are that good now that this is just ingrained into their minds so deeply that they don't know anything else to do apart from just endlessly rip teams to shreds with some of the most beautiful, incredible passing and pressing and finishing football you have ever seen in your life. So yeah, Jordan Henderson, I think, probably deserves to get the Man of the Match award on the back of that, even though Mo Salah was brilliant and gets a couple goals, even though Firmino was sublime and gets a couple of assists. Jordan Henderson just runs the show from the centre of the park every single time. I think he slightly bailed Fabinho out a couple times as well. If you were to single out one performance that wasn't quite there for Liverpool today, Fabinho still looks like he's just edging back from fitness a little bit. He was certainly better than his last couple of appearances. We had some good moments as well as some slightly dodgy moments from him, but there's just a couple of moments. I think, to be fair to him, Southampton definitely targeted him at times, and their pressing is very good. It's very efficient. If they do try and win the ball back off you and do it through their pressing routines, then you're probably going to end up losing it if you are in the kind of situation Fabinho is in, where he just doesn't quite have the same match fitness as everyone else on the pitch. But there were definitely promising signs. He's certainly getting there, and I think once we get out of this winter break that we're coming into now, when we get out the other side, I think he will be absolutely fine and dandy, and he'll be back to his absolute best in a Liverpool shirt. But I thought, given he was being targeted, given Southampton were clearly trying to get the ball off him whenever they possibly could, I thought he did absolutely admirably under the circumstances. The defenders as well, you know, Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk didn't always have that much to do, but when they had to do something, they were just on another level, and that's why Southampton didn't really deserve to get anything out of the game at the end of the day. It's no fault of their own. It's just the fact of the matter is they are nowhere near as good as these Liverpool players, and that was as clear in attack as it was in defence for us today. So yeah, just a brilliant performance downstairs. I could talk all day about how great these players are, but at the end of the day, when we're summing it all up, I think you can boil it down to the fact that every player was brilliant. Jordan Henderson was my favourite of the day, but he was very, very close run by pretty much everyone else out on the pitch there today. Let me know who your man of the match was down in the comments below. Apart from that, I think it's fair to say that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, as always, you know what to do. Hit the like button down there. Hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days. Don't forget to follow at LSU Focus TV on Twitter as well. And I'll be back soon with the pre-match content for that FA Cup replay against Shrewsbury. Until then, bye for now.